What's going on? Rob Trev 2323 here. Still working on this project here. Woo! Can't see that. There it is right there. Alright. That's for the ceiling fan. So my next project right here that I'm gonna part, the next part I'm gonna do is put the electrical wires to here. I gotta put a double box here because I'm gonna have one switch for the fan and one switch for the light. Okay, but right here, here's my dilemma right here. I'm gonna see if I can the light right there comes around here and comes down to right here. Okay, here's my dilemma. The neutral is up in the box. The power to come to here is coming from all the attic, okay? And that's hardwired in. That's why I had to move the fan off of that because I didn't want to have to mess with those 4 boxes up there. But the neutral's coming down to here. Now I took this apart. For your outlet, you're gonna need a black, which is your hot, a white, which is your neutral, and a ground, which goes to the box. This right here has one black wire coming in and one black wire going out. Although it's not a black wire going out, they use the black and white wire. So the hot going up, that's wrong. It's neutral and it's white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 2 new wires to this right here. From the attic, run 2 new wires that are going to go to the fan. And this one right here that's coming down from the light up there, what I'm going to do is use the hot and the neutral. Since the white is a neutral anyways, but they got it running like it's a hot. What I'm going to do is run the black and the white to my 2 switches here. But I got to drill to bring the wires down in here all the way up in the attic. So let's go up there right now. Alright, now this was where I pried up. It's an unfinished attic. I pried that board up to see the switches and everything for that's the fan. And this box right here is the old light. See how it's all hardwired in there? But I had to pull the other way underneath there to see where the wire is going into the wall. Now this floorboard right here, believe it or not, Murphy stepped in. It's the longest damn board that I gotta pull off. Okay, so to get access to that, it's all tongue and groove. See, this one's actually chipped up a lot. It's all tongue and groove. So since this was a crooked board, I pulled that one up first. I pulled the crooked board up first to give me a little access room. And what I'm going to do, since this board goes all the way into the wall, I'm actually going to cut it kind of right on the rafter so it could fit half and half on the rafter right here. I'm going to line it and cut it because I have to access right here because that's the line that is going down to the light switch, and I got to drill 2 holes through that wall to get the light switch down there. So bear with me. I got to cut this right here, line right here, so I can pull this board up to get access to that. Okay, so what I got here, I'm gonna get this out the way, shut this off, is I got a square, and I'm gonna square off the middle of this. I want this board right here to be in the middle of this right here. You can see they cut this one short because it's supposed to overlap in the middle so you can screw both of them on there. So they put a support right here. But I'm going to cut this right here. And technically, the board's very long. But you shouldn't have 2 boards ending in the same spot. But they got the same thing right here ending in the same spot. And we're going to put a floorboard over the top of this one. So it ain't going to matter where I cut it. But I'm going to go ahead and line it right there. And then I'm just going to use a plunge cutter to cut it. You could, use a circular saw and kind of hold the blade up, and it's real ghetto as hell. It'll cut faster than this plunge cut, but I mean, it could just run off on you. So I'm actually going to do it the safer way today. So I'm just going to go ahead and plunge cut this off, pull this board up, and then we'll get access so you can see the where I'm going to drill through. If you don't got a plunge cutter, you better ask somebody. Cut through that real fast. And if you know you got something to do, like cut through a big piece of wood, don't be afraid to crank this sucker up, because this sucker cut through that in less than a minute. Straight line all the way across and through. Now I got to pry up the rest of the board, and then we'll access that wire where I got to drill through to run the wires down. Okay, let me explain something to you. When you pull these floorboards up, this one right here is nailed in pretty good. So what I'm doing is I'm hitting up this way first to try to get myself some room to get the hammer underneath there and pry them out. Now this right here, do not put your foot in here at all, period. that is a plaster ceiling or your drywall ceiling. If you step in that, you're going through and your foot's going to be on the other side. There's more repair. Be careful when you're doing this. Okay, after I hit it up enough with the hammer, I hit the board back down. See? And it got the nail exposed where I could get it now with the pry bar. Now I call myself jack of all trades, master of none. Whoever put this floor in was really master of none. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. All the tongue and groove, big gaps in it and everything. Anyways, I got the other board up. You see, I left myself a lot of meat to put another screw in there. And then this right here is the wire going down to the other outlet. So I got to put 2 more holes because I'm going to run more cable to go down to the other outlet. So I'm going to drill the 2 holes right now. Okay, this is the cable I'm running down there. Black and a white cable. Same size as that's on there right now. Somebody actually previously had to wire this kind of different way. The house is 105 years old. Most of it is hard, rigid pipe. But that right there is just a flex cable, just like this. So what I'm going to do is drill the flex cable. I'll probably use this one right here because it's a little bit bigger. I don't want to have to fight to get it in there. And drill 2 holes so I can run 2 of these down. One's going to be for the fan and one's going to be for the light. And I'm going to drill down, run into the switch at the bottom, put it under the floorboard all the way to over there, and give myself about 8 inches of room on each end, and then seal this floor up. And I know my wires are where I need them to be, and anybody could walk up here and that's already ran. Alright, holy shit, that went through fast. Right there. It was a 5/8 inch bit I put through there, and you can see I'm in the middle of the wall. I'm in the wall, so I'm going to measure from the ceiling all the way down. If I take the switch out, I know I can see exactly where I need it to, but I'm trying not to do that switch work until tomorrow. So I'm just going to run down, make sure I have a little bit extra, and then cut it off right there. Okay, what I wound up having to do, I started pushing the wire down, and it wasn't coming down smooth enough. I didn't know. I started hearing plaster fall from the back, so I said, you know what, let me just run a fish line down there and do it the right way. So I came down here, I took the box off. It was just screwed into the wood slats. Okay, these are live right now because I had to turn on the rest of the house. But I'm going to turn this 1 box into a 2 box, called a gangable box. Right now I'm unscrewing the box right here. And then these two the side comes off, and then we put these 2 together. So I unscrewed this box. And that's one side of the box. Now I screwed the other box, and what you gotta do is you put them in there and then you screw them back together. Then when you screw them back together, then it's gonna be a double box. Okay, so there's your double box. There's the original hole. So all I gotta do is cut it a little bit further out this way. I'm gonna line it and then cut the plaster out right there. But before I put this one in, I'm going to hit the knockouts that I need to hit the knockouts on, get the knockouts out. It's probably going to be 1 off the side, and I definitely need to do 1 off the top. I need 2 knockouts coming out of this. Now these 2 lines is going to be the hot and the neutral coming in, and then they're going to go to this right here, the hot and the neutral, and it's going to go up. Alright, so actually the neutral is just going to go to the wire straight up, and then the hot will go to the switches straight up. Well, I'll show you how it's going to work out. But what I'm going to do is shut the power off again so I can put those wires all the way in and then line this up right here. Okay, got it cut perfect in there. Got my double box where it fits perfect right in the wall. Right there. I got to hit my knockouts out and run the wires before anything else. But I want to show you how I got it perfect like that. If you don't have one of these, you invest in one of these and you get the blade, because man, it just cuts it perfect. And then with the wood slats and a plaster wall, you got to be careful with these. If you hit the plaster with a screwdriver and a hammer, I mean, it'll crack it. And even when you're cutting these, you got to be careful that it don't wiggle the plaster loose. What I did is I held the board from the back and gently cut it where I could just crack it off. But that's perfect right here. Now I got to run the other wires down from the ceiling, see if we could grab them and bring them in here. Okay, that's 1 wire up there. I got 1 wire up. I had to run a fish line from the top to the bottom because we tried just pushing this down to grab it. It kept getting snagged. We couldn't get through. We had to run a fish line from the top to the bottom, tape it around and get it back up. Okay, there's the fish line right there. And then there's the holes right there. I ran the fish line down through the hole. And as I pulled it up, I fed it all the way to make sure that I had more than enough over there. Alright, I just ran the wire down to my son. The fish line. That's the fish line. I ran it down and he got it. Now what he's doing is he's tying the fish line around the wire with tape. It's going to go around the flex cable and around the fish line. And then he's going to feed it to me and I'm going to pull it right back up. This is the other one. It's done already. It's here already. Oh, what the hell?
You're already recording.
Alright, so I got the box right here. I got all the knockouts knocked out already. What I'm going to do is run the wires through the knockouts while I'm putting this in. So this way I have a little more leeway. And then I could pull the wires through to get the bolts in here. I got to shut the power off first. Okay, now how these are going to go in here, it really ain't going to make a difference which one's the fan or which one's the light. When I finish, this is going to be the light and this is going to be the fan. But I can put them anyway right now because this ain't going to tell the difference until I connect them up there to the light and to the fan. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on right here, finagle this in there and screw this in, and this will be ready. I can put all the power back on until tomorrow morning. Okay, voila, the box is in. I actually went over some with the tape on electrical tape. I'll check the polarity tomorrow because right now they're both just hot. One's coming from the light and the other's going to the light. Here's the neutrals and here's the hots. One hot's going to be for the fan, one hot's going to be for the light. So what I'm going to do right now is I could go ahead and put the neutrals on, but the hot is going to be for the light, so I can put this light on right now. You know what? I'm just going to put the light on. I'm going to tuck these in here for right now. I'm done with this. And I'm going to put the light switches on here, but this one's the only one that's going to work because this is going to be for the bathroom light. Meanwhile, that could be on. But everything's in. I'm going to shoot these in with screws to hold on to the back of the wood slats. Put the switches in here. They sell actually little plates to stop all the air and all that. I might just go ahead and get one of those afterward. But this is pretty much done. This is buckled out pretty much a whole lot. So I can actually get that out there and then it'll sit flat. So, but if not, we'll see if the cover's going to cover it. Okay, screwed my ground into the back of the box right there. That's the ground. I'm going to put my toggle switch on. Right now, the toggle switch is just going to go to this. Right here, just for the light. These are the original ones for the light. When I'm ready to hook everything up, my neutrals are all going to be together. My 3 neutrals are going to be together. And then my 1 hot's going to go to one switch. Then it's going to, I'm going to split this 3 ways to go to, 2 ways to go to one switch, then to go to the next switch. And then from the switches to here. So I'm just going to put this on right now, just so the light can be on until I'm done tomorrow. But either way, I like showing everybody everything that I'm doing right here. Technically, I could probably just run a whole new wire for that, but it's just going to be more problems. I already got the wire in here. It's already wired all the way up there. I'm just going with it. Alright, and Bob's your uncle. I got to go ahead and clean up my little handprints right here. But, see? Right now, that right there is for the light switch, so this light could go on and off. This ain't connected to anything yet. Only thing is right here, so much buildup of paint is right here, so it won't let the light switch to sit flush. So I had to kind of finagle this in there, but I got to touch that up with some of the blue paint. But I do have some left over. Next thing I had to do, button up the floor upstairs. After I button up the floor, everything is ready to go. I just got to put the ceiling fan and the light fixture up there. I'm going to do it from down here. You could do it from in the rafters or you could do it from underneath. I'm going to do it from underneath because I don't want to go behind the knee wall that's upstairs. Anyways, that was running the power for the switch, changing from just a light to a light and a fan. I could have just been chintzy and went ahead and just ran 1 wire. And when you turned it on, the light and the fan went on. But I wanted 2 wires, one for the separate fan, one for the separate light. You see, I got to clean it off. I got 2 little signatures there, 2 little black marks. Alright, I'm going to go button up the floor upstairs, and that's what I did to run that wire. Alright, final step here, final stage. I think this is like part 3 or part 4 of the video. Switches are in over there, double switch. And I got to finish putting the ceiling fan in here. Okay, if I'm looking dead here, it looks like it's going to be a little bit off to this side. Although, the ring around the fan, is way bigger than that hole right there. It's like a 20-inch ring or a 16-inch ring that goes around the ceiling fan. It's really big. So I still got room to play right there. But what I do gotta do is actually measure, because the box for the ceiling fan is only like 8 inches. So if that's centered on the joist right there, there's extra room here and extra room there. So actually I cut enough 2x4s to fit it, but I'm upstairs in the attic. I pulled the floorboard out just to make sure I got room and where it's gonna go. Let's go see. Now where the fan is going is actually further up that way, but I'm using this space right here because this is the fan. This is upside down. It's gonna be the other way, but I'm making the fittings. It's a 2x4, 1/4-inch plywood 2x4, and I had the exact same thing for this size right here with the 1/4-inch plywood right here. But here's the thing, with the 1/4-inch plywood, this right here is too snug to fit in there, and I don't want to push this in or compress this or file down. So I figured without the 2x4, this is the side with the bracket. Actually, there's some screws right here to screw it in from underneath. That's for if you're putting it in from the ceiling. This is made to be able to come in from here to go down. It's a lot easier, but that's behind this wall right here. So I got to go from the bottom up to mount it. And they do got screw mounting holes, but it's only on one side. I was wondering why they wouldn't have them on the other side. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and use these 2 screw mounting holes, but I don't want it to be held from one side. So I'm going to tap in holes for the other side and mount those 2x4s on that side also. So it's going to be sitting snug against this, but it's going to be tacked into over there where it's going to have less play. And what I'm doing up here is I'm just dry fitting it between the joist. So I know I have what room to work with. And before I put the final rest in place, I'm going to measure the length of the ceiling downstairs, mark the center so I know where the center of it should be. Okay, I just want to show you this cluster F I'm dealing with in this old house. This is the old box right here. There's 2 wires going to the light. You just unscrew it, turn it to the side, it comes down. It's kind of glued up there. But look at all these wires. They don't even fit inside of the box that they're in. So I got to pull these down, find out where these are going to. Check which one's the neutral, which one's the hot. Of course, they're off right now. And then after I find the neutral or hot from these wires, I got to find out which one's going down to the light switch. And then I'm going to have to take those off. So either way, I'm going to start working on tackling this right now. If you got new electricity, new wiring, there's not a problem. This old crap is just a nightmare. Alright, I'm venturing to say this is the neutral right here. And this is the hot. But look it's all freaking exposed wire and everything because this old wire just disintegrates. Now this right here was put on where I'm going to see if I can screw the cap that I got directly onto this. But there was a lot of room for all those wires to hide. I'm going to have to try to get those wires to hide in there a little bit better to be able to fit that cap on there. So I'm going to go ahead and run the wires like I need to. Like I said, for that right there, the switch, right now everything's coming from the ceiling to the switch. So I got the neutral is connected in the box right here. Then I got 1 hot wire going down to the switch and 1 hot wire come back from the switch. But I need the neutral to go to the 2 new wires that I ran. So seeing that they got all this wiring screwed up anyways, I got to label it. But I do have a white wire coming from the switch to here, which should be a neutral, but technically is a hot because they just ran 2 wires to go down the same, like you would in a regular cable. So that neutral will be a neutral in the box now because I'm going to connect it to the neutral in here. So there's 2 wires going to the box, but it's a hot going down and a hot coming back. So now it's going to be a neutral coming down and a hot coming down, and then I got new wires going back up. So that's how I'm doing it. Okay, this is a wiggy. This is what tells you what's live and what's not. Not live. Uh-oh, maybe the batteries are going out. Let me try it again. Anywhere in there saying it's live. That's not good. This is gonna be a little harder than I thought. Because one of these should be neutral, one of these should be hot. There shouldn't be two hot ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and troubleshoot this and I'll let you know what I came up with. Okay, I had to cut the thing off and separate them further apart. That's the hot. That's the neutral. Hot, neutral, hot, neutral. Now I gotta go upstairs and find out which one is the one. There's 4 in this box right here. I gotta find out which one is the one going down to that switch right there. Okay, from what I'm looking at, since this is the hot, this is the pipe right here. This is the one going in. So this is gonna be, these are the 2 wires that are going back and forth into the switch. So these are the 2 wires I'm gonna need. But since this, see, here's my thing right here. What I'm looking at is this. I know this is the hot. This is the hot that I just clipped off, and this was going to the wire. So this has to be the hot coming back. See, it's a white cable. This is the hot coming back, and this is the hot going to. Okay, this is the hot going to. This is the hot coming back. Okay, so this is the neutral right here. So this neutral, I gotta switch over to this hot coming back. I know this is confusing. This neutral, I gotta switch over to this hot coming back. No, actually, the hot I could leave, because I do need a hot. So the hot I could leave, but this right here is just gonna have to come over to the neutral. So now there's 2 wires going down to the switch. One of them is the neutral with the neutrals, and one of them is the hot, and then I can put that all back up. Wow. Sometimes, how's it doing? The Men in Black, Hondo, you know, sometimes you just need a piece of pie to think. Well, I had to think about it. And after I got all these spaghetti wires down, this is the one that's going to the switch. One's the hot going back, and one's the hot coming this way, okay? Because there's only 2 wires going down there. But since I need a neutral to the switch and got 2 brand new wires, it's going to be a whole separate thing. This is the neutral. So this is going to get cut right here, connected to the neutral. Actually, I'm going to put the neutral on the neutral. I'm going to switch this, because this is a white wire anyways. This should be neutral. What they're using is the hot coming back. So I'm going to make this a neutral. Since it is white, this is going to be the neutral, and this is going to be the hot. And then I can seal this back up. I don't know how much I'm going to get it in. I got the cover to screw onto this. Just a plain white cover. I might need to caulk around it, because, man, 105 years ago, they just didn't know what they were doing, I guess. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Okay, here's the deal. This right here was the light fixture I got down. See all that extra room? That's where they hid the wires at, because that was a flat pan up there. From the bottom, it don't look that bad. From the top, it looks terrible. So I bought this box cover. So I bought this box cover right here. It's supposed to cover the regular outlet box. Okay, but it was too small. And if I paint around the white on the bottom, it won't tell. But I could tell, because, see, there's a gap in there. It don't go all the way because all the wiring. So what this needs is a box, but a thinner box. This would need a box maybe like that thin for it to cover. And then it'll screw in perfectly and you won't be able to see anything. So what I'm gonna do is look for one of those boxes, and if I don't find one, guess what I'm gonna make out of this? A box to cover it. But right now I'm gonna turn the wires on, the electricity on, to make sure that don't catch fire, and to make sure that I do got 1 hot and 1 neutral down here now. Okay, so far so good. No fire coming out the top right there. No smoke, no fire. And then these are the wires that I converted. This right here, the wires are so old they're falling apart. I actually just wrapped them with electrical tape. Got a hot and a neutral. Hot, neutral. So now I got my hot neutrals that I can send to my new wires, and in between the hots are gonna be the switches. Alright, so I'm gonna run these wires, connect all these. So what it's gonna do is actually these are pretty cool. These lever switches, all you do is you lift up the levers, but you gotta lift them all the way up. You're gonna think you're gonna break it, but you're not. You lift it all the way up, and then you shove the wire in there, and then lift it down, and that's it. So all I need is 2 of them, actually 3 of them, to go all the way in the back. It's gonna be 1 for the green, 1 for the hot, and 1 for the neutral. And what you do is you put your 1 hot into the switch, and then you put your other 2 hots from this right here to your switch, and then your other hots go from your switch all the way up to the lights. Okay, and then the same thing for your neutral. You get your one lever switch right here for your neutral, and then you run all your neutrals to the one lever switch. So it's pretty easy. Then you do the same thing with the ground. So I'm gonna run all these the way I need to run them, and then I'll get back to mounting that light. All right, so the dilemma I was having, since I mounted it from the bottom going up, is the hanger brackets that were hanging off this side and this side. There were hanger brackets there, which are these right here. Because it's square and I cut the square hole, even if I was trying to angle it either way, these angle brackets were preventing it, and I didn't want to cut any more in the ceiling. So what I did is I cut the angle brackets off with some tin snips, and then I'm putting stainless steel duct tape on them. One other thing I noticed, well, this is I cut the ends off and I put duct tape on it. I can't even tell they were supposed to be there. Another thing I noticed when I was up there, I cut the 2x4s to put in the rafters. If you're looking at this right here, you look downward, this sticks out further. This vent sticks out further. So I gotta make sure the 2x4 is mounted like back here this way. It's gonna get screwed onto the screws on the side right here anyways from the bottom. But this actual piece sticks out wider. And I'm actually putting it where I cut the to fit in the joist on this side and to fit in the joist on this side. But I'm not going to put it in the center of the bathroom, because I did measure the center of the bathroom and the original light was off center where it was at. It looks center, but it's actually off center. So I'm just going to mount it in front of where that regular light was. But I cut this off, and I'm going to go ahead and, two 2x4s with a 1/4 inch. That's, about 3 1/4 inch screw, a 4-inch screw you're going to need. So I'm not going to do that. I bought power grab. I'm going to drill some little holes, some starter holes. And then with a 2.5 3-inch screw, I'm going to drill the 1/4 inch and the 2x4 to the rafter in here. So I'm going to do one 2x4 into the rafter with the 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to put the other 2x4, power grab it, and screw it right into this one. And on this side of the rafter is going to have two 2x4s. But same thing, I'm going to screw one in, power grab it, then screw the other one into that one. I cut the whole square, so I'm going to go ahead and power grab everything up. I'll show you right now. Okay, here's the hole right here. See, that's all the way up against the two 2x4s and the 1x4. And right now, that's only one 2x4 in it. I had to get the other one out the way because there's a cable here that I got to lift up and screw on top of the 2x4s. But in the same, that one piece, that vent piece was sticking out. So I'm going to have to cut this one a little bit shorter. But after those are power grabbed in there and I get the wire up, I went ahead and cut let me get this right. I cut it off, and then I just got to finish cutting it wide enough to fit the square up in there and not the whole thing. See, I got to cut it a little bit more in the back, and then the whole square is all the way up in there. And if I had the other pieces, I'd have another 3 inches out the back sticking. So this is almost all the way in there. Let me finish mounting everything up, then I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, and Bob's your uncle, you're done. Yeah, right, I wish. I'm just trying fitting it right now. Everything looks good all around. I didn't put the extra thing right here, the extra 2x4. It's going to bolt in, it's going to screw into that one right there. But then I'm going to bend the tabs down on this one right here. There's 2 tabs. I'm going to bend them down on this side, and that's what's going to hold that in place. And then that side right there is going to be screwed into place. I'm about done messing with this. So now the next thing I do, seeing that I got this in, I got the supports in, I'm going to go ahead and start getting these wires ready for connection for the vent wire and the hose. Alright. Okay, final stretch, guys. These are the wires for the power, the fan, and the lights. And then here's the vent hose right here. I'm going to get these wires ready. Have long wires so I can pull them through. But I'm not going to have them screwed into the... screwed hardwired in with the cable to the light fixture. Because it'll be too hard to finagle it. So I'm going to have a lot of wires so I can pull it through and then tighten them in. And this there's a lot of play in this, so I'm gonna cut this probably about right here to give myself some play. Alright. Okay, so I got all those set up. The one thing that I figured was wrong was I was gonna actually just leave the wires long and pull them through after it was in there. The top one shouldn't be a problem, but this bottom one, trying to get it up in the hole I cut, I'm gonna have to push it forward and then try to pull it back to finagle it in there. So I might be recording so you can see that. Okay, I know we got a big shadow cast over here. I had to get my hand in here, can't even see it, to get the vent screwed onto there. It would have been so much easier from the ceiling. And I got these on right here, but look what happened. Since I had to squeeze it so much, it popped right here, the flex cable. So that is not good. It would have been easier to do it from the ceiling, but everything's in right here. I'm actually gonna put some electrical tape and duct tape around that and then just jam it in there. As it goes on, I'm done for the day. Okay, and Bob's your uncle. Or should I say it like this? Bob's the uncle, Bob's the uncle. I got the light in right up there. It's all bright, you can't really see. I need a different cover. You see the cover sticking up? What it is in this old house, they had a pancake box, a really thin box with 4 things going in the back of it. So the old fixture it was, all the wires were tucked into the fixture. So, I'm trying to get a little bit better view. So that's about a 1/4 inch off the ceiling, okay? Job-wise, what I say is this for a novice. Unless you got drywall, this isn't for a novice, man. Especially with plasterwork. That thing whooped my tail. Okay, so total what we did in the videos. We ran from the outside soffit all the way in. We ran the vents, okay? I gotta finish buttoning this up, but it's all right. All these connections are right here. I ran new wire for the light, new wire for the fan, and connected it to the old wire. Now how they had it bootlegged is the neutral wire was in the ceiling. Everything came from the ceiling, and they ran one hot wire down to the plug outlet and one hot wire back, and the neutral was already up there. But they left the wire white anyways. So what I did is I had to switch like reverse osmosis. I had to turn one of the hots, the one actually going back that was a white, I turned it into a hot. And so I brought one hot and one neutral from up there all the way to back here, and then I connected all these into it from there. Alright, so I just gotta button this up, put this on. That right there, I was gonna actually run blow-on insulation, but what I'm probably gonna do is around the perimeter of it, I'm gonna spray foam it. It's man, working with plaster is just a nightmare. It just disintegrates. 105-year-old house, the wire's just disintegrating, so it's a pretty hard job. Something like this, unless you got time on your hands, don't tackle it. Just have a professional do it. But I showed you pretty much everything that I did to do it. All right, bye.